These kids, they fighting in the malls, they fighting the police, flashing guns on social media, shooting and killing each other. They out here stealing cars and being disrespectful, just ignorant behavior. They suicidal, they got anxiety and depression. My question is, where are the parents?
Fathers, it's one thing to know where your kids are, but do they have access to you at all times? Presence is the greatest gift. Being involved, available, and engaged. This is TSOU People, the state of us, honoring our fathers. Cultural and historical context. Due to systematic racism, mass incarceration, economic disempowerment, discriminatory housing policies, and generational trauma, Black families have faced unique pressures that have disrupted traditional family structures. Despite this, Black fathers are often deeply engaged in their children's lives, whether or not they live in the same home. According to blogcadre.com, 67% of Black children live in fatherless homes in the U.S. since 2024.
I think it's inflated. I think a lot of these statistics are given to us at certain times and certain reasons for certain purposes. I do believe there's an uptick, but it's not the last 5 years. It's not the last 10 years. It's not even the last 20 years. I believe that happened when the federal government stepped into our communities, into our households, and told us that nigga ain't necessary. I'll give you EBT, that man's not necessary. I'll give you subsidized housing if you get rid of him, that man's not necessary. Who needs to raise him? Who needs to show them anything? Who needs to show them the difference between a man and a boy and the stages in between? Of course not. I'll make sure that I supply you with the greatest weapon that has ever been created, child support. That's when it started. It was designed to systematically break us apart, because think about this, even into slavery, fathers would go from where? The field or the house to whatever shack or shanty they had, do that, and then go back to work the next day. So you want me to believe that we are the byproduct of men like that, and somewhere along the line we forgot how to do it. Come on now, dogs don't forget how to bark. I don't care what continent you put them on. We forgot our bark? Absolutely not. I think it's inflated. It's a very inflated number, and I think it needs to be broken down more.
CDC even shows that Black fathers are among the most involved with their children on daily caregiving tasks when compared with other groups. So how did our American history shape the experiences of our Black fathers? 1619, 1865, the slavery era. 1619, first enslaved Africans arrived. Enslaved people were denied legal marriage and family stability. Families were often torn apart through sales and forced migration. What's that impact? The foundational disruption of Black family units. Survival often depended on extended, mother-centered family networks. 1865, slavery abolished, the 13th Amendment, but no support given to reunite or stabilize Black families. Black codes criminalized unemployment and movement, leading to mass arrests and forced labor. What was the impact? Ongoing family instability and suppression of Black male economic power. And of course, 1877 through 1960s, Jim Crow era. Legal segregations and job discriminations limited opportunities for Black men. Most were forced into low-paying, unstable work. Impact: deepening poverty made it harder to form and sustain stable families. 1971 to present, war on drugs and mass incarceration. Harsh sentencing laws and drug policies led to mass incarcerations of Black men. Impact: Black fathers were removed from the homes at a historic rate. Presently, resilience and response. It is the rise of fatherhood initiatives. There's mentoring and community-based healing. Impact: a shift from blame to understanding, and from punishment to policy and community restoration.
It takes a community to raise a child, not just parents by themselves. And it used to be, if you were doing something in this corner up here that you shouldn't have been doing, you got dealt with. And you know what I mean when I say you got dealt with, right? And then they would make a phone call to your parents and say, look, we saw your kid up here. They were doing this, maybe some vandalism or something, and we had to deal with him. We just calling to let you know. It's something like that, you know, just paraphrasing it. And then, so you got dealt with there, and then on your way home, when you got home, you got dealt with again. That's community.
Emotional and psychological impact. That foundation matters even more in the world that often tries to devalue Black children. Black fathers who are present, loving, and supportive provide children with a strong foundation of identity, confidence, and security.
My dad always gave people nicknames. So my nickname was Doll Baby. So I was his doll baby. I was his first child in the home with him and my mom. And so my mom would tell you that he was obsessed with me. He did not want anything to happen. So he would sleep holding me. He would watch me sleep. He was terrified of SIDS when I was a baby. But he used to call me his big number 12 when I was little because he wanted a boy. So I always wore, if my dad dressed me, I had on little tank tops with sports shorts and with number 12 on the back of them. And I would always tell him, I love you times infinity. And he would say, I love you more than chocolate and ice cream. So you know that's a lot. So we were it. My mom would tell you if I got hurt, I ran to my daddy, ran right past her, all things daddy. When I was little, my dad was a drill sergeant. And so he would come home from drill camp, and everything was like cadence. Like, you know, dads taught kids nursery rhymes. I learned like drill sergeant cadences, like 1, 2, left, right, you know, that kind of thing. But we would tease because he had drill sergeant voice. So like all he had to do was call your whole name and you ran. Like I never got whooped by my dad. I was terrified of the idea. I got spanked one time by my mom when I was little. My dad cried outside the door because it hurt his feelings as much as it hurt mine. But he was great until 6th grade. And in 6th grade, things shifted. And he went from working 2nd shift to 3rd shift at GE and started sniffing cocaine to stay up at night. And that just kind of took his life. It took all the things. He had, my dad was a sergeant in the Vietnam War, and he was a certified sharpshooter. And he was discharged from the war, double Purple Heart, which doesn't happen often. And I mean, he had it all, he would tell you, and drugs took that away. And the beautiful thing about my middle school and high school years was my dad was very inconsistent and he didn't show up a lot. But my mom would tell me to never judge a man I could never judge my dad until I walked a mile in his shoes, and that he was a good man, but he made a lot of bad choices. And so that allowed me to always have empathy for him. And I think it shaped me being able to kind of see that people can be good people that make bad choices. And then he was always in the background. And so as I got older, then we developed a better friendship and relationship. But then I had kids and everything changed because he was Papa Shay. And I will tell people all the time, my dad made a lot of mistakes as a dad, but he rocked it as a papa. I mean, he was the best. Anything, everything. He thought the world of his grandkids. He called my son little dude and my daughter butterfly. And who I miss today, my father passed away in 2021, is Papa Shay, because Papa Shay got it so right. One thing that I thought was always cool about my dad is he knew a lot about everything. Like he just knew like stuff. Like he was in the military. He had an associate's degree in mental health from Greenville Tech, but he also took like heating and air class. Like he could repair stuff in the house. What I loved is like my dad taught my brother and my son, his grandson, that it was okay to cry. It was okay to have emotions. It was okay to communicate and talk about how you feel. And you don't always hear older men imparting that. Like when my dad was having his last days, my son came to say like his last goodbye to him. And my son walked out of the room and he was, let's see, this is 2025, so 4 years, my son was 10. And he understood the seriousness of the situation. And my dad asked him to get in the bed with him. And he said, it's okay to cry, little dude. It's okay to be sad. And that was everything for his grandfather, who's in his 70s, to give him permission to cry. Meant a lot.
You see, present, loving, and supportive Black fathers give their children a strong sense of identity, confidence, and security. That foundation matters even more in a world that often tries to devalue Black children. Boys often model themselves after their fathers, learning how to express masculinity, handle conflict, and show emotion. Girls often build self-worth and relationship expectations based on the example their fathers set.
I have 4 boys, 4 girls, and 1 little girl on the way. And she's due like anytime.
How do you play a part in your children's life?
I'm in their skin. Like, I'm in their skin. I want to be in everything they have anything to do with, whether it's an activity, whether it's a thought, whether it's a process, whether it's a dream, an ambition. I want to be there for everything. Like, I'm so actively involved. Like, I want to spend the rest of my life just being involved in their lives and making wealth to do such. That's all I want to do. I don't want a vacation. I don't want to go see nothing unless they're with me. I don't want to do nothing at all, but be wealthy for the sake of the generations of me that I'll never meet. That's it.
What would your kids, if I asked them, what is it about your dad that makes him special? What do you think they would say?
I hope they will say I'm very engaged, you know? Like, if I tell them something or show them something, let's say, or I'll just say if I discipline them, then I'm going to explain how or why. Here's why I'm disciplining you, because you did this. Or if they don't understand anything, or I would say, hey, well, let's try to find out the meaning for it, the reason for it. Just research it, go in depth with it, know what you're doing, know what you're talking about. Truly understanding, like gain an understanding. It instructs them and teaches them. Well, like the scripture say, if you spare the rod, you'll spoil the child. And there was a wise man once told me, can I say his name? Mr. Bryant. He's no longer with us. He's one of my family members. He was his father. And I used to go and talk to him all the time. Even as a young head, you go to the older people for wisdom. You know, they've been here a lot longer. You know, I can't go to my peers. We in the same boat. So I would always speak to the older gentleman. And he shared something that's still with me to this day. And he was saying, when you have a child, and this was before I had my kids, he said, your hands are to protect, your hands are to provide, your hands are to nurture, not to strike in anger. He said, if you're going to discipline a child, use a tool. And that scripture come alive, the rod of correction.
I think everyone as a parent just wants to protect their child and have them to grow, and whatever you feel, whatever they feel is success. You just want to help usher that to them. Anytime I actually talk about her being a father, is just like, that's the one person I just need to protect because she didn't ask to be here. Being that she's on the spectrum, so I have my special way of trying to actually talk to her. I feel like she does a lot better with when I talk to her with not verbal stuff, just I'll text her or whatever. So I think it's a lot better. Just give me a second.
Absolutely.
Nah, I'm good. I'm sorry, sometimes just talking about her, it gets a little emotional. just because I want to protect her from the world, and I feel I can't. And that usually is kind of like just, that's the biggest thing about with me being a father is when she was diagnosed, from that point, it was kind of like I just needed to be, I know how the world can be, and it just flashed me back to everything that I took. And I never wanted her to go through anything that I went through. So it became a situation of, I just, every day, you know, you just have little thoughts, and I just want to make sure that even though it's not possible, you want to make sure you can protect them from just how cruel things can be at times. But then you also want them to learn. So you have to have them do things on their own, and you be happy for the triumphs that they make. But at least for me, it's always, I'm always there, like as far as the protection part. I'm always to the point of, I think I don't want to, the last thing I want to do is to weird her out, because she is actually fine with mostly everything that I think that's a problem. And that's the beautiful part about how she is.
Every child watches, every child listens. A son studies how his father walks through a world that often tries to break him and learns how to stay grounded without going numb. A daughter sees her father's eyes light up when she speaks and learns she's worthy of attention, praise, and fierce protection. History has tried to cut those ties through slavery, segregation, locked doors, and locked cells. But Black fathers keep showing up, reading bedtime stories over FaceTime after a long shift, braiding hair before sunrise service, coaching Little League on fields the city forgot, but the kids remember. You are a chef.
And you're making a dish and you're making a dad. So what ingredients would it take to create a dad?
First, love and actual love, communication, that is key. And I know love is like really broad, but I think to me, the love and the communication go together.
So if I'm a chef making the ingredients of a father, the first thing that needs to be put into him, like the first man that was ever put here, was God. It said God breathed into him. So if you don't have God in that pot, God is the pot, the pan, the stove, all that in fatherhood, right? So you gotta have God. I believe you need humility. I believe you need work ethic. You need
Integrity. Honor. I think there's integrity, honor, trustworthy, patient.
understanding. You need passion. You need empathy. You need, man, I can keep throwing words at you till I'm blue in the face. I don't think there's a perfect formula.
You're patient with your kids, understanding with them, and integrity, that they know they can trust you and with no fears.
Fathers set the rhythm. They're the first drumbeat of discipline, the baseline of protection, the voice in the back of a child's mind saying, "You got this." Black fathers break cycles the world said couldn't be broken by showing their children what it looks like to turn pain into purpose and pressure into power.
This tattoo is in honor of my dad. So I saw this as art. Like it's a black frame, and you can get it ordered as art. And I saved it, and I just got it this past year for my birthday because I was scared to get a tattoo right here because it's gonna hurt. But it's a jagged heart that's kind of broken in two places, and it's an infinity. And what that represents for me with my dad is that love is forever, even when it's messy. Like, that's a messy heart. It's not beautiful, but it's forever. And it is because of who he was when I was little. He put that love there that I had it to be able to give back to him later.
Know that your child is here, not by mistake, but your child is here for purpose. And you get to take part of this journey, this adventure of your child becoming who they are meant to be. And like we were saying earlier, this is those monumental moments where you can, like you say, like the scripture says, it says, with your words, you can build up and you can lift this child up. Even when if you tell a little child anything, they're gonna believe you, especially your child. And so if you start pouring into your child how special they are, how they're a gift from God, how you love them, and you're excited that they're your children. And when they feel that love and they know they have that backing from their father, and your kids, they can do anything. They can feel like, when I think about my kids, how they felt like, hey, I can go and live here. I can go and live there. I can go and live here. I was sad to see them go, like so far away, but at the same time, I felt proud, like they feel strong enough that they can, or independent enough that they can do it. So,
parenthood is something that is probably best when you are actually planning it. I feel like more people should actually discuss that with each other beforehand, because I mean, things happen, I understand that, or whatever, and children come a lot of times and you don't know. But I would definitely advise people to be ready for it, and if as ready as possible, discuss it with and understand who you're with as far as your partner, and trying to, you know, see what their mindset is on children, because sometimes you can be with someone and they may not even want children, you know, and that can kind of cause a problem in its own. But I think the biggest thing is, I really think that is probably the biggest thing, is just making sure that you're ready for it. I mean, as much as possible, because it's not something that, at least mindset in accepting that you are ready to be a parent instead of just jumping into it, because it's a really big responsibility. And like I said before, no child asked to be here. So once they're here, you're responsible for their life.
I think at the end of the day, the importance in having a father in your life is understanding that power of that presence. There's something about a man. There are just things that a man's energy brings to an experience that a woman can't. And no knock against any mom that has to do it as a single mom. My mom did it single for years. But one of the things that my mom used to always tell me about my kids is that the mom and the dad balance the experience for a child. So there are things that you just need from your dad, and there are things that you need from your mom. For me, my dad was more emotional than my mom was, and so I got a different type of understanding from love from my dad than I got from my mom. And if I had not had the balance of the both, I wouldn't be who I am today.
I understand at the essence what it takes to be a father in America. Whether you're white, whether you're black, I don't even want to get into that. The essence of being a father in any race is necessary. So I know it's hard. I know Superman really doesn't get thanks, but continue to fight. Don't let these variables position you outside of the accountability that was given to you, the father.